Welcome back to Automotive World Deep Dives, everyone. I'm your host, Vinay Mystery, and tonight we are back in our Deeper Dive segment. And we've got the all-new K4. Rest in peace to the Kia Forte. That model, that nameplate is being retired, and we have a new successor. This is going to be, obviously this is going to be an all-new car. We don't have any, we'll go in our deeper dive. We don't really have any mechanical information or any pricing or anything like that, but we do have some pictures here that Kia showed us, and we're going to do some comparisons over the current Forte, and we're going to see what we can pull and what we can actually figure out from this. First of all, we have a picture here of the side. I really like this design. It's futuristic. It's got the fastback look. Very much looks like the K5 or the new from their sister brand, the Hyundai Elantra and the Hyundai Sonata. I really like this design. I like the wheels. I don't know if I necessarily picked those wheels. I think they do obviously fit this design though. It looks really nice. I know some people are going to say it looks a little bit too futuristic for them, but I really like this design. You know, it's got like the T-shaped, headlights here. Kind of have like, your tail lights coming all the way down the L shape there. It's really nice. You can see the different shapes and how it's sloped and everything. I really like this fastback looking design. It's definitely got a very European vibe to it. And I think it looks really good. I've got a few other pictures here as well that we're going to look at. So we've got our side profile there. We're going to look at our front profile here. Sorry about that. And then here we've got our front profile. So we have a little bit, we can actually see the front. They still kind of have that grille that they've got going on, but obviously they have changed it a little bit. I think really, I know this is the K4, so this is replacing the Forte, and obviously this is the model under the K5. I really think though this looks more like the sister cars from Hyundai, being the Sonata and the Elantra, more than actually the K5. But I think this looks really nice. We can see our T-shaped lights here, our DRLs here. We can see obviously our other headlights, our actual main headlights right there. That's where you'll have your, how your housing of the low beam, the high beam. You'll have, between here, you'll have your turn signals integrated in things. We can kind of see how the hood has, the lines up here, how it follows through. It's a really nice looking, sleek and sharp vehicle. I think it looks really nice. They did give us an inside view of the vehicle. Here, we do see they have some buttons. I do like that. That's very good. I'm a person that likes buttons. Obviously, they have the the infotainment system up. It looks like they have some controls for the chair and things. But we do have some buttons here. Looks those are probably some traction control and things. We can see here we've got USB and things. We've got USB-C there, so no more USB-A. I can't really tell, unfortunately, what these buttons are. Obviously, this is our hazard. Our four ways here. This looks like maybe some seat heaters or something, maybe some air conditioning buttons. So we do have some physical buttons on the vehicle. That's really good. I really like to see that. We've got, obviously physical buttons for the windows and things. Obviously, we can see here we have physical buttons on the door. These are going to be, your memory position. So if you have multiple users, you can set different memory positions for the seat and for the exterior mirror. So you just push a button, it'll automatically align. Usually Kia, I've only seen Kia vehicles have 2 or 3 configurations. I think sometimes they may have 4. Can't really tell how many they're going to have there, but it looks like they're going to have some memory seating, which is nice. Looks like we've got like a speaker or microphone up there. We actually have some buttons on the side here too. So it looks like on this side here, we probably have like some memory positions here, but then it looks like on this side here we might have, because usually with a lot of the Kia cars, you can get heated and ventilated seats in the front seat, and because this has the 3 lines on here, and I do own a Kia Optima, so I know these buttons look very similar. That actually might be the buttons for the heated and cooled seats, which would be really nice, because in the older Optimas and things, they would actually put them down here. So that's actually that looks like that's what it is, because it has those indicators. So that's really interesting to see that up there. We have typical old school air vents. I like that. I don't like those like software ones that the Tesla has where it changes it like that. It's cool, but I just don't like it. Just make it old school. It's better. It's just how I am. So, don't relax in the comments if you're one of those type of people. Steering wheel wise, we have a new steering wheel. Obviously, it's a new car. It's a new redesign, right? We have a new steering wheel. It's It looks like a high quality steering wheel. I'm not a big fan though of the Kia logo like this to the side, off centered. Not really a big fan of that. I mean, I see that they put a groove there, especially forward. It's just like, put it in the middle and just make it bigger. Make it a regular logo. I'm not really a big fan of that because now you just have empty space here. It kind of looks weird. Buttons wise, obviously, we've got a lot of buttons on here. Obviously, these will be for, some of them will be for changing the screens up here. Obviously, we'll have our cruise control and things like that. I'm not, in terms of the shape of the steering wheel, I kind of like smaller steering wheels or less buttons that are like more sporty. This just kind of looks like really big and bulky and old, very like old Lexus and Toyota kind of like. So I kind of actually don't like the look of the steering wheel. That's just me though, personally. But it looks pretty high quality. I really don't like how that logo is like that either. Let me see what else we can pull from this. Obviously, it's going to be an automatic. This car is not going to have... I'd be really surprised if this car had a manual when it came in. Obviously, though, this one is an automatic. You know, we can see it from there. We don't have a third pedal. What else can we pull from this? You know, we've got our cup holders here. Unfortunately, they just gave us only an interior look of the front seat, so we can't really see what the back seat's going to look like. I would assume it probably looks somewhat the same. But the interior and the front, I mean, for what this is going to be, you know, a more an attainable, affordable car, this looks really nice. This is a nice looking interior. I don't know. Obviously, this car is going to probably cost more than the outgoing model, so we don't know what the pricing is going to be, but this looks really nice for, like, if this is the replacement. This is a really nice, clean interior, and it's got a good mix of everything. I really, really like that. Let's get into, though, the press release. Like I said, they didn't give us much, but let's see what we can extract from this. So, obviously, here we are with the press release here. Kia is talking about their design philosophy, power of the progress pillar, you know, how they came up with the design. You know, they talk about here what they've learned and, you know, how it made the vehicle more bold. It gave it a symbolic strength, you know, through the body design. You can see here the fastback style resonates perfectly with the bold, progressive nature of the Kia brand. We know that Kia's design-wise is going like this. We've seen this with the K5. We've seen this with the EV9. So this is their design language. This does follow it. This does have a lot of continuity. So they're just really talking more about that. They do talk about, obviously, the vertical headlamps, how they're positioned like that, you know, the DRLs. You know, we've got chrome strips and chrome accents and things like that. Really, really a lot of it is just design-wise. They do talk about, too, the air diffuser that's incorporated into the bumper. It's not really a performance air diffuser. It's just like, it's just a aesthetic thing, which isn't bad. Nothing wrong with a little cladding. But really, all this is really just all about the design. They talk about the cockpit being driver-oriented and the way that the layout that it is. You know, they talk about it's just all design-wise, how they have, you know, different, you know, they've created with those buttons putting on the side for the passenger. It's kind of like a different division, essentially. Not really anything that, like, you know, engine-wise, trim-wise, price-wise, there's none of that really in here. You know, they talk about here the premium quality, having the large central screen, you know, driver and passenger environments. They talk about while physical buttons and controls are deliberately kept to a minimum, you know, they still have it integrated in here for buttons, function buttons such as home, map, search plus. One thing that I did find interesting, a rotary controller enables quick and intuitive interaction with the car's functions. Below that, 4 further buttons provide seamless control of heating, aircon, and ventilation systems. So, that's really good. Like I said, they kept physical. It's very minimal. It's very clean. But they kept the physical buttons how it needed to be. They have physical buttons for the aircon. That's very, very good. So it's quick. You can just interact with them. It's great. The rotary knob. This is a bit interesting. Kia's not the first person to do it. Lexus does it on certain models. BMW, does it on certain models, Mercedes-Benz does it on certain models, and Mazda does it on all their models. Mazda usually gets talked about the most just because most people can afford Mazdas. I know this is a bit of a polarizing topic. Some people really love the rotary knob on Mazdas, and some people really, really hate it and just wish it would be gone. It's a bit interesting that Kia would put a rotary knob in a car like that, because that, just for whatever reason, rotary knobs, just when you look at them, they tend to be in like premium or upscale or even luxury vehicles, so it just kind of has that association of just being like a premium thing, which obviously they did talk about wanting to make the interior premium, not wanting it to, it needs to feel better than it is. So I think that's a bit interesting. I think that's going to be a bit polarizing. I don't know, because it says here it's going to be intuitive. A lot of people, and I've used rotary knobs before, I don't find them that intuitive. It'll be interesting to see if they keep the the screen like a touchscreen where you can do both the knob and the touchscreen, or is it just all going to be in the touchscreen? Because for a lot of people, I don't know if they're going to like that. It's going to be very polarizing. It's a 50-50. So I just found that a bit interesting. But that's a preference thing. Other than that, like I said, they kept the aircon buttons, ventilation system. That is really, really good. Kia, keep doing that. They don't really talk about anything else. They talk about the interior colors. They talk about, the exterior colors. And they just talk about, this was shown off at the New York International Auto Show. They do say that, there is going to be a live broadcast in which, it'll be the premiere of the vehicle. Obviously, and we know this, they did just say they're going to just do just the design only. So we don't have... Sorry about that, guys. We don't have any... We don't really have any juicy bits. We don't have any trim types. We don't have any sales, prices on MSRP. We don't know when they're going to start delivering to dealers. We really don't know anything about the vehicle other than the design, other than the one picture that we have, what we know, that they kept some buttons, they kept aircon and things. We don't know anything else. And this is very interesting because the Kia Forte, it's not the first time Kia's done this. Take a popular model, get rid of the nameplate, rename it. It's not the first time they've done this, especially when that vehicle was selling really well. But the Kia Forte is a very interesting model because it's one of the only few models that are still kind of left, especially in America. It's a small car, it's affordable, but it's a fun car. It's a really nice looking fun car. I mean, in the Forte, you can get it in the GT version, which gets you can get it in the GT manual or with the dual clutch. And it gets you 201 horsepower out of a 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, 195 pound-feet of torque. I mean, the fact that you can get a GT or even a GT manual, which the manual is more expensive, for under $26,000 MSRP. Under $26,000. I mean, that's the same type of performance as the Honda Civic Si. In fact, it's actually, I believe it's 1 horsepower more now. So you're kind of beating out the Si in a way there, price-wise. You're not beating the Jetta GLI or the Mazda 3 in turbo in terms of performance. But price-wise, I mean, this is very similar to, a Honda Civic Si, or even you could even argue maybe even a Jetta GLI because the dual clutch. And I mean, this is in the most expensive trim. This is only $24,000 to $25,000. This is under $26,000. And you look at the beginning trims, the entry level trims, $19,900. There's not many cars here in America that are starting at under $20,000. I mean, yeah, it gets 147 horsepower with a CVT. 132 pound-feet of torque, but I mean, you pair that with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile warranty, and that's a compelling price. It's a compelling vehicle because you're going to be covered for a long time. Obviously, with the redesign, that's a new interior. It's a new car, and we can tell here this design, not just the rims, but just this design here. This just looks old. It looks dated. It doesn't match with any of these designs going on here. So just like with the new Nissan Kicks, obviously this vehicle is probably going to go up in price. But how much is it gonna go up? Because the GT right there, it doesn't look bad, but if they, I want to know, like, are they just gonna transfer the engines over with the transmission and pair it like that? Are we gonna get a GT model for this? Or are we gonna get an upgraded model for the GT? I would personally love to see Kia with the new K4. I would love to see them do like a 228 or 230 or even a 240 horsepower engine and try to compete with, if they can't really do the Mazda 3, fine, but really compete with at least the Jetta GLI for under 30 grand starting. That would be really, really good. That would be a killer car. Even with the DSG, just with the warranty and all that would be a really killer car. Obviously, we can see the GT here. You know, like I said, this car looks very dated. It's still got the old style switches, the old style knobs. So we know that this car starts at 19.9. We know that the GT model starts at about 24.5. We can already see with this, and we already see with the design, just with the touchscreens and things. Obviously, this model is probably going to have a price increase. We don't know how much because we don't know what the price is going to be. We don't know what kind of options there's going to be, what kind of trims there's going to be. We don't know what kind of engine and transmission. We don't know any of that. We may get that on the 27th, but as of the 22nd, March 22nd, which is Friday today as we're filming this, we don't have any of that information. But it's going to be very interesting to see, because this vehicle, this is the entry-level vehicle, right? So the GT trim is just a great trim. I would buy a GT trim. That's just like for fun though, really. Most people who are buying the K4 aren't really going to spend 24, 25. They're going to spend like, they're going to want to just get the cheapest car possible. So they're probably going to get that the $20,000 trim. Maybe it'll go up to 21, 22. So for most of this car, like the GT trim, they'll probably sell it, but they're not going to sell much of it. Most of this car though is just going to be the entry-level trim. And we can already see body style wise, you know, interior wise. We can already know the features wise too. This car is going to be better than the old version in every way. In just technology, everything. But this type of car isn't going to sell based off of the features. It's not going to sell based off the performance, what kind of engine or transmission. This type of car is the car that you're going to sell the two basic trims of. It's all going to come down to price. And just like I said with the Kicks model, this is probably going to be a really nice upgrade. It's going to be a worthy upgrade. This is probably going to go up. We're seeing with most cars nowadays. This, you know, we saw with the interior, even though it was minimal, there was a lot of screens and things. They're talking about rotary knobs. You can kind of see in the press release that we have here, you know, Kia is, they're thinking of going, you know, like you don't put a rotary knob in a cheap car. You're not going to put a rotary knob in like a Mitsubishi Mirage or something. So clearly we can see that the design language wise, Kia is going futuristic. Kia is going upscale. You know, they don't want this to feel like a cheap car like how it does in the current Forte. So it's going to be interesting to see what the price is. We don't have official pricing. I would say it's probably going to go up at least another like 3,000 to 4,000. But it's going to be very interesting to see what Kia does here with the K4. And it's all going to come down to that pricing. It's not going to matter on any of these features because, like I said, the person who's buying the K4, they're not buying this for the features. They're not buying this for, like I said, the GT trim is a for fun trim, but they're not buying it for that. If somebody like wanted to spend a little bit more money and they're like, okay, I care about the features and things like that, more than likely they wouldn't even go to the Forte or the K4 GTs. It's going to probably be now. They just go to a K5. You know what I mean? So obviously, you know, we don't have much to do a deep dive on here, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this looks. So that's our deep dive on the Kia K4. It's going to be interesting. We'll find out soon what happens.